Hello and welcome to the Curator's Salon podcast. I'm Geeta Joshi, and today I'm really excited to have my guest, Liz Lidgett from Liz Lidgett Gallery. Welcome, Liz.
Thank you so much for having me.
I have been following you online, big fan, and I'm really
Thank
proud
you.
of seeing your most recent exhibition, the summer show, selling so well.
Yes.
But before we go into that, can you share a bit more about your background with the listeners who are not familiar with you and your work?
Sure, you bet. So I'm in the US. I'm in Des Moines, Iowa, and I own an art gallery. We just turned 5. So we began right in 2019, right before the pandemic. I had been an art advisor before that, first as an in-house curator for a corporate collection that had an incredible collection. And then I went off on my own because I saw that several corporations throughout the Midwest needed that sort of help. And felt like I was the person to do it. And so I was an art advisor for a while because people started calling and saying, well, I know you do corporations. Will you do my home? Will you do my restaurant? Will you do my small business? And I saw how much I really enjoyed the different challenges that arose and the opportunities and just working with so many different types of people and collections. And I really have a heart for accessibility in the art world. It's part of why I loved corporate art so much is because sometimes we spend more time at work than we do at home. And I felt like it was really important for people to have art around them, surrounding them while they're working because it helps with inspiration and creativity and taking a break from your day-to-day work. So I still feel very strongly around all of that. So 5 years ago, I started the gallery because I felt like I was working with other galleries, and there are so many wonderful galleries out there working very hard for their artists and their clients. But of course, again, felt like I was the person to start one, probably delusionally at the time. You never know what you're actually getting into. And yeah, I mean, we really focus on a few things. Accessibility is huge. Education is huge for us. Also, we represent at least 50% women artists. So there's some core tenets for us. High level of customer service, both for our clients and our artists, treating people really well, trying to break some of those stereotypes that people think about the art world.
Thanks so much. That's an amazing rundown. Do you still have corporate clients? Are you still doing consultations
Yes.
and amazing?
Yes. Yeah, we work with a number of financial institutions. We work with just basically, kind of some of the core businesses, agricultural, financial organizations that are in Iowa, right? We also do a lot of public art, many murals, but that's some of our art advisory that comes out of the gallery.
Oh, that's incredible. So how many artists do you have on your roster at the moment?
Right now we have, I think, 65.
And all of
So,
them are in the
um,
summer show?
and I believe about 40 of them were in the summer show. That's an opt-in show. And so what that is we call it our Holiday in July show. We also do one in November for actual holiday. But it's really important to me because July is, you know, typically the slowest month of the year in the art sales world. I say that's really just because people are enjoying their lives outside. They're not thinking about their walls, right? So it was really important to me knowing that the art world throughout the year can be so cyclical that what could we do for our artists that would keep things kind of status quo for them? And for our clients, we thought it would be great to really give them some opportunity to buy from artists that they maybe typically couldn't afford themselves. We hear that all the time is I really love XYZ artist, but their prices are $2,500 and I'm more at a $400 budget. So we want to make sure that everybody feels like they can buy original artwork and that they can engage with it. So we do this under $500 sale. And artists are typically making pieces that are anywhere from like 5 by 5 inches to 8 by 10, 11 by 14, something around there. So they get a little bit bigger sometimes. Um, and, it's a great way for clients to really snap up some pieces of artists that they have been very excited about. We always time it. So basically we release it at 10 a.m. Central on a particular day. And we know we have hundreds of people on the website waiting at that point. People are very, very excited about accessible artwork, good accessible artwork, right? And our artists love it too. They love the engagement. I have found that oftentimes the people that are buying pieces at $200, $300 are the ones that are the most excited. This is often their first time buying a piece. They know exactly where it's going to go. They've been watching, they've been thinking, they've been budgeting. And that means so much to me as a small business owner. It means so much to our artists. I had multiple emails from artists last week saying, I'm crying in public watching my artwork sell out. And people being so excited about it. And then they'll, direct message them on Instagram and be like, I got one of your pieces, and they're engaging with the artist. And it's just this new art world, right? Where people can really reach out through social media and engage and show the artist where the pieces end up. They can engage with the gallery. They know us. They know that we're the ones literally with our hands packaging the work. They know every part of it. And so that's why I think it's so exciting to be a part of the art world at this moment, because there's a lot of transparency that can happen.
Yeah, and I really love that about your approach to this, that it does feel very accessible through that
Thank you.
transparency. We see you packaging up the boxes or
Yeah.
writing the invoices, and then we see the
Yeah.
stack of boxes on your socials. And it's
Yeah.
always great when clients and collectors actually share pictures of them receiving the work or
It's the
hanging the
best.
work and all the things. I love that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I think, your approach to that has also been, I don't know, kind of out there and, you know, just taking it into a place of customer service that we really want to see that's very
Mhm.
approachable as well as accessible.
Thank you. Thank you.
How many shows do you normally have in a year?
So we usually do 12 to 13, which is so many. We're doing one about every 6 weeks, and then artwork was selling fast enough that people wanted it a little bit closer together. So now we do one about a month. And then we do something in addition to something like the holiday in July or
Mhm.
holiday under 500 show. So yeah, we do about 12 to 13 shows. Our next show opens this Friday, so it's fast. Um, yes, it is a crazy time where July is slow for other galleries. It's nuts for us. But I wouldn't want it any other way, so I'm never going to complain about it. Um, but yeah, so yes, we will open a show with 9 artists this Friday. And we do our calendar the August before. So next month, so next August, 2024, we'll be doing the entire calendar for 2025.
Wow.
And that, I think, gives our artists a lot of planning time that they often don't receive from other galleries. And so that's very, very important to me. Also, if I do it first, then my artists are never telling me, no, I can't do it because another gallery's already taken that time. So it goes both ways, right? Like it's good for me and it's good for them. But yeah, so we'll be doing all of 2025 planning here in a second.
Wow. Yeah, that's really long lead time. I mean, I guess you don't have to
Mhm.
announce that publicly, but as long as
No,
you know in the back end
yes.
what's coming up in January and things. Do you actually stay open through January? I know a lot of galleries close in January to whatever, like refurb or just because it's a quiet time to have off.
We do. We stay open. We're open 6 days a week and all year long. We do close for the week between Christmas and New Year's, and that's when we really do wall repair and all kinds of things. And then also just take a break. We all need it after a holiday, but yeah, we're open all the time, 24/7 online, we
Fantastic. I
say.
love it. Well, I guess you have to be to some degree, right, with the online side of it, right? People placing orders on a Sunday evening. They still need to be
Absolutely.
sent out within the next few days.
That's
I
really
love
my
the
favorite is when I find people are have like been purchasing at 2 a.m. And I'm like, I don't know what they're doing, but I'm so happy that I get to wake up to
I love that
this.
as well.
Yeah, it's a good
I
feeling.
love the launch that you explained. You had everybody ready to buy it whenever the shop went live on a
Yeah.
certain day, certain time. Um, can we talk about that strategy a little bit? Has that been something that you've built up over time, or how do you do that warm up? Do you let people know what's coming? Can they see what's coming?
Yeah, you bet. So it goes we have a couple of different things that we offer. One is that we do the show once a month and we do a pre-sale for that. Anybody can be on the pre-sale. It is not, it is exclusive to the fact that you follow our newsletter. But it is not exclusive. So again, we're trying to really democratize the art world here. So even though we are doing a pre-sale, anybody can access it. And then the show actually goes live on a Friday, always at 10 a.m. We have chosen 10 a.m. as our time across the board. And then we also do somewhat weekly or bi-weekly releases from artists that artwork never goes on the walls. It is only available online and it is just a small collection, 6 to 8 pieces usually. Prices range from 500 to 1,500 usually. And so we really want to quote unquote train our clients that they know that this is the deal across the board. We don't do pre-sales for those releases. Again, trying to democratize the art world, we want everybody to have access at the same time. So they go live on the website at 10 a.m. when we do these releases, and we've had releases sell out in 30 seconds. I mean, truly, I mean, when we've got artists that people are really looking forward to and have been planning for, we do usually release just the imagery of the artwork beforehand so people have an idea of what's coming, but there's no way to purchase except for just being online like everybody else.
I love it. That's so cool. I saw recently that you were selling, is it Sarah Jacqueline Schwartz? I first came across her on social media when I think it was the other art fair shared some of her work because she was going to be
Oh, yeah.
at one of their fairs. And then I saw that you were also stocking her work, which is very cool. How
Yeah.
do you find your artists?
You know, I go to some fairs. I go online all of the time. We probably receive 10 to 15 submissions a day as well. So we have a lot of artists that are, sharing their work with us, which is also wonderful. We review quarterly for all of our artists and that when we're receiving all of that. So we do a big sit down and we really look at, where the holes are and what types of artwork we're sharing, if our eye is really drawn to anything that we're seeing. And we can tell when people have done their research. I talk about research a lot, but I can tell when artists have done their research on what would fit with us. What is the vibe that we're going for? We have a lot of color, a lot of joyful energy. Um, and I think that there's room in the art world pretty much for every type of art. But even if I think something is wonderful, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be the right fit for the gallery because my biggest worry is that I'm going to hold this artwork hostage. Um, and nobody likes that feeling. I don't like the feeling of not being able to sell a work. The artist doesn't like it. The artist is like, "Hey, what are you doing?" Um, so we do try and find work that we know our clientele is looking for.
And when you open though, what was your aesthetic? I mean, I guess, because it's very much led by Liz's taste.
Yeah.
What would you say your aesthetic was and how has that evolved over the recent years?
That's so interesting. I've always been into big color, um, bright, vibrant, take over a room type of pieces. That is what I'm personally really drawn to. I like a lot of color, a lot of pattern. Um, the way that things have evolved, interestingly, I'm becoming more and more interested into mixed media, a lot of textile work. I love the texture. That wasn't something that we had much of in the beginning, and I'm finding these incredible artists like Emily Keating Snyder that's so onto their work. Rebecca Stern is doing such amazing work doing that. We have a few artists that are working with fiber, Anna Burskins, Rachel Jackson. So I'm really, really drawn to texture now over the color. Um, but it's interesting to me. I see these trends and Some of them I'm really, really drawn to. I'm seeing so many artists work with reclaimed frames now. Some they're painting on top of, like Sarah. Um, some are really taking over the entire piece. So they'll go thrift basically old artwork and paint on top of it. Um, the art world can be so wasteful. So I actually am quite drawn to that sort of thing where they're reclaiming and giving new energy and new life to pieces and frames. Um, and that's why also we talk a lot about recycling, recycling materials. We have big stickers that if a box has been reused, that say like why we are using this box again. I mean, it's still in good condition, but it may have another brand's name on it, right? And so that's fine to me. And honestly, we get great feedback from our clients saying, we appreciate that you're doing this. So I think it's small things that we're trying to be thoughtful about that I think end up making big differences over time.
That's lovely. That's so nice, though, because I think, yeah, it's so wasteful. On the subject of waste,
Mm.
um, and it's really around travel, but do you do any fairs?
You know, that's so interesting. We don't. Our artists really want us to. And I wouldn't say every single artist. I don't want to make a blanket statement, but we have many, many artists that really want us to. I haven't been able to figure out how it works for us in particular. Um, you know, because we are in the middle of Iowa, if I were in New York or a major city, I might be able to figure it all out and make it work. But that means we're taking our entire team out of the gallery. We are taking truckloads of artwork. We are spending the booth fee. We're doing all of this when, things are going pretty well from our sweet little gallery in Des Moines, Iowa. So I just haven't figured out the waste and the cost versus it's just a pro con list, right? And there may be a fair that we think, okay, we really do need to be there. We've looked at the Affordable Art Fair. I think they're doing great things. I've been to it in New York several times. Um, it's just about getting us there. I can't wrap my mind around it.
Yeah, it's the travel as well.
Yeah.
When I say waste, I meant more of that side
Yeah,
of things, that it is very environmentally unfriendly, right? A lot of times, and
absolutely.
when you see people sort of flying across the country to do these things.
Hmm.
Um, I wanted to actually talk a bit about having teams and
Yeah.
staffing and things like that. When you opened, you did mention that you had somebody that started with you and they've
Hmm.
been with you all along. How has your team grown? How is that whole hiring process for you?
Yes. So as an art advisor, I hired Tina Ehrlich, who has been, my right-hand woman all throughout. I had my child, one of my children, and came back from maternity leave and said, Tina, I think we need to open a gallery. And she was like, that wasn't on my bingo card of what you were gonna say. And so she really started a few months before in the art advisory company and then really helped me from the ground up start the gallery. I think of the gallery as really a co-production between the two of us. I end up being the name and the face and all of that, but Tina is behind the scenes. And anybody that has purchased anything from us knows Tina. I mean, she's so incredible with working with our clients and logistics and so many different things. But um, I think the team is everything, right? So the fact that Tina has been with me from day one has been so, so important. And then we've had some incredible people come in and out. And I really try and think about, where these people want to go in the world, what they want to do with their careers, how we can develop them while they're here with us. I think that those partnerships and those relationships really matter. And so I try to be very, very good to my team. I also recognize the fact that, there are things like we say all the time, there are no art emergencies. There's just not. I mean, there are things that can go wrong and things that need to be fixed and things that need to be timely, but we are not saving lives. I will argue we're making them better, but we're not saving lives. So I don't think some of the um, urgency, some of the meanness, some of the cruelty that sometimes you hear about happening at galleries, it's not essential, does not need to happen. Um, I think about the fact that, as the owner, no one is going to love this the way that I do, and I can't expect them to. So I think about that for my team as well. Um, Nothing is more important than family. I mean, we just try to have to keep all of these things in perspective. We also all think it is really fun to come to work. I get excited to get up and go to work and see what's going to happen that day and what artwork's coming in and what clients we get to work with. And it's the best. So we try and keep that in perspective too. And because we think about all of those things and we think about the work-life balance and, you know, again, what we're doing is really cool. Um, then I've been very lucky to keep people with me for a long time, which is great.
Amazing. And obviously it's, something we both mentioned previously was that you didn't need a lot of art world experience to
Hmm.
work in the art world. And I found
Yes,
this when I had interns, when I had staff, that it was often quite helpful to be able to then shape them into whatever this business is that they are, I'm bringing them into. And my vision, do you find similar?
100%. Yes. We say all the time while we're interviewing new candidates that it is not important to me for them to have gallery experience, even art world experience. A love of art, yes. That's a completely different thing. But experience in it, no, especially in Iowa, it's hard to get that experience. There are very few places where you could work and have that. So I don't expect that. And sometimes it's actually a benefit. We've had people apply from other galleries, and I think I just don't, even if they are wonderful people, I don't want them to come in with these preconceived notions of how a gallery works because I know that we work different, right? We're trying to work different, like that's our whole thing. So, honestly, a lot of times it's a great thing if they don't have that gallery world experience.
Yeah, I found that having good interpersonal skills and obviously the
Mhm.
interest in art, that's a given, and an interest in marketing were
Hmm.
some of the main things. So they needed to know how we actually communicate this to the
Yes,
people that are more than the walk-ins, I guess.
totally. Yes. Yeah. I think, it's really interesting. I think marketing, interpersonal skills, we had somebody come from um that they worked in the mall at anthropology and she is to this day, we just love her so much, but she is so good at the customer service side of things. Somebody can come in hot, they can be upset about something, and she can just so rationally and lovingly speak to that person. And I, and then she'll get off the phone and I'll be like, oh, what was that? And she'll be like, oh, they were mad. And I'm like, I love the fact that I couldn't tell that from you, you know, from the other side of the phone call. So it's one of those things that they could have so many different types of experience and do well here.
I love that so much. All right, we're going to wrap up. Is there anything else you would like to share with our audience before we go?
No, I mean, I'm thankful for the opportunity to talk about the gallery. We love what we do. We feel very passionate about it. And you can follow along with us on Instagram. That's where we are every single day at Liz Lidgett Gallery. And then personally, I talk about things that I'm doing at the gallery as well, on my Instagram at Liz Lidgett. And then our website is lizligit.com. I sound like a narcissist, don't I? That I've named all of this after myself. But you can go on lizligit.com and you can see our releases and every artist that we have and all of our available new artwork. It's a totally shoppable website. So we have artists and clients from all over the world.
Actually, on that subject, there was a fantastic post you did, I think it was before Christmas, around having sold art to all the states in the US except one. And I
Yeah.
think you did
Yeah.
make somebody from that
We did. Yeah, we made
state.
it. We made
Yeah.
it. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those silly things that I think my team kind of rolls their eyes that I track. Uh, but it's really important to me to really show that we're smack dab in the middle of the US. And we are an area that in Iowa, we think people think of us as farms and corn and pigs, right? And it's really cool for me to see that it's almost like this radiating effect that we're in the center of the country and we have artwork going all over in every corner and every big city. And it's all happening in Iowa. And I think that speaks to the fact that the way that the internet is now and e-commerce websites and all of that, you don't have to be in a big city to live your dream. You don't have to be in a big city to become quote unquote known or whatever that looks like for you. Um, and we've been doing it all in Des Moines in a town of 500,000. And we recently had several of our artists come in for our 5-year anniversary, and they all loved Des Moines. Granted, we gave them a very curated small experience. But it was really great for them to see too that like this is what we're doing. This is where we are, why it's important for us to live here and be here, and our families are here, and that's important to us. But we can do it all from here. And I hope that other people take that wherever they are, in whatever small town you're in. Um, if you've got a phone and the internet and the webs and a computer and a website you can build, you can do it too. It doesn't matter where you are.
Fantastic. Liz, I'm going to add links to all the places that people can find you online in the
Thank
show
you.
notes. And if you're listening, then remember to join Liz's mailing list as well, where you're going to get
Please.
first dibs on the new releases. Liz, thank you so much. I'm sure we will speak again soon.
Yeah, I can't wait. Thank you so much.